What up, guys? CP the Tool Addict. Woo! How you doing? Well, we've got another salty video. Nonetheless, today's video, we're going to talk about mechanic prices going up. Yes, that's right. Mechanics are going to start charging you more. I know that I have already increased, and I will continue to increase until the volume of my work is consistent with the pay I'm getting. Mechanics have been underpaid for quite some time. They've been screwed over by bad shop owners, the industry in general. There's a lot of problems with the automotive industry. And people say that there's a lot of negativity associated with the automotive industry, but really it's a very undermined business and very thankless business. Although there's a lot of great shops out there, there's a lot of great mechanics out there, there's a lot of great technicians, there's a lot of great automotive work to be done, there's a lot of things that can be enjoyable. The general public views mechanics as greasy, dirty, ignorant, shallow, vain people, and quite frankly, that's couldn't be farther from the truth. And unfortunately, it's a sad reality. Now, I know there'll be a lot of people that will try to say different, but the reality of it is that's just not true. I know that I see people talk to them, and they think that mechanics are underpaid, are not well paid, don't make a lot of money, spend a lot of money on tools. I mean, I've seen a million comments in my comment box about, being in debt with Snap-on for all their life. And, that's usually a young mechanic that's not very smart with his money that does that. Mechanics have been in the business for a long time, are usually smarter with their money, and they're very well versed with what's going on. Now, watch out here, fella. Watch where you're pointing that thing. That being said, the whole reason for the price of labor going up also is there's a lot of people that try to do things on their own and bring these cars into mechanics sometimes where they're screwed up because they failed to be able to do it. And when that's done, I gotta say, I honestly penalize people for that. Because you're better off leaving the job alone if you're not qualified, for one. There's a lot of computer systems, there's a lot of things you can screw up on a car, and a lot of us have spent a lot of time, years, headache, blood, sweat, and tears learning how to fix these heaping piles on four wheels. Changing a simple hose or something like that can seem like a relatively easy thing to do. But is it really? Some of these cars require you to use a vacuum filler to fill them up. And I've had guys come in and ask me to get their car filled properly after they've changed a hose. So they expect me to do it for free because it's just a simple job, and that's not a big deal. However, that tool cost me well over $200 to buy, and it's something that I bought so that I could do this job properly. So it's basically a slap in my face. And I know people look at mechanics and they just think, it's no big deal. If he's already got the tool, he can do the job. That's not the case. I'm going to charge you the same amount of time as I was going to put that hose on for as I am to get your coolant filled the proper way. It could be something as simple as just putting a hose on or putting a clamp on, anything. We spend a lot of money on our tools so that we can enjoy the job that we're doing. That's part of the reason, even though people think that we waste money on tools, but that's not the case in most cases. You don't understand our industry, it's probably best you don't speak about it. I know a lot of people think they do, and there's, so many armchair quarterback mechanics out there. Just because you watched a video or whatnot doesn't make you qualified. YouTube is a prime example of how many people are filled into this industry with just giving their opinion about something, even though they're not mechanics. Some of them live with their mothers on their family farm, and they've never been in a shop for more than a year in their entire life, but yet they're out giving advice as if they're some sort of qualified mechanic when they're not. It takes all these fancy equipment now, scan tools, which they can call it fancy. It's really not fancy anymore. in my opinion. I mean, scan tools have been around for nearly 2 decades, getting close to 2 decades. Actually, they've been around for more than 2 decades. I apologize. OBD1 came out, and first computers came around in '85, which there were still some that were even relevant before then, because oscilloscopes have been around for since the '70s, and they technically were checking spark and whatnot. But nonetheless, I digress. The reason why these prices are going to continue to rise is because there's a depletion in the market. Now, it's funny because I see so many comments about people saying, things about getting things fixed, but I have to actually wonder how many people are actually mechanics anymore, and not just, once again, armchair quarterbacking, because our industry is suffering so badly. There's very few of us, and we're tired and beat down because we're always working on something. So my only resolution to that is to raise the price. At this point, my business isn't slowing down. I know this might seem heartless and, I'm gouging or something, say like that, but at the end of the day, the parts stores, the car manufacturers, they're doing way worse. When you look at the fact that a truck now, such as this, is costing well over $60,000, obviously somebody's making money, and it's not me. And that's why this has to be done. Now, I will say, what are we looking at for hourly rate? Well, I could say easily in the next couple of years that it wouldn't be shocking to me to see hourly rates up and upwards of $250 an hour. And I know in some cases shops are very close to that. In most cases, a lot of them in bigger cities across America. It's just about time that we have to do this, because there's things, people don't have the proper tools that they're working on stuff. They don't have the knowledge, and they try to dig into something. I'm not saying that they're not capable, but definitely do your research before you do your own work on your own vehicle. The last thing you want to do is end up having to bring it to a guy like me, because I'm going to charge you for everything that you screwed up. And that's something that I have to do. I've helped out a lot of people for so many years, and I've taken hits, and you know what? None of them come over to mow my grass when I'm sick. I have done so much for so many people. I guess now I'm a bitter old mechanic that I realize, unfortunately, the problem is, and I do the job right and still get criticized. It's just a sad situation, honestly. And it's all one because people are trying to save a buck, and I understand that. And I would encourage you to try to save your money. Learn how to fix your car the right way. But tools are expensive, and that's a problem. Are you going to really go out and spend $500, $600 on a tools for a $300 repair? In some cases, I'd say that it's a wash. It's better to save your money and have it done by a professional. That's what we do for a living. I mean, a lot of people go and get their houses worked on or whatnot, get siding, roofing, specializing. These are professionals that do this stuff. That's why you have them do that. Changing a tire, obviously you don't need to bring it to a shop. That's kind of your choice. The easier things, but make sure that when you do something, you understand what you're doing. And if not, ask. Ask questions. It's better to call your mechanic before you do it. A lot of times they'll even give you advice. I've done that 100 times, and I'd much rather know what you're doing before you do it than find out after you're doing it. That is a fact. So long story short, why are the prices going to raise? Well, it's just the price of tea in China. Unfortunately, supply and demand. When you're in too high of demand, when there's not enough supply, the prices have to go up. And unfortunately, this industry's suffering. We don't have enough technicians. It's hard for me to find help. I can't find help. Therefore, I have only one choice, and that is to raise the price until it hurts. You're going to see this across the industry all over, and I've already seen it in parts prices. I've already seen it in several things, and everybody else is doing it. For some reason, it seems like mechanics are always the last to do it, and I think that's because we do have a heart, and we hate to do something like that. But unfortunately, I can't continue to fix problems for free, and I just don't operate off smiles. That's all there is to it. It is a very difficult thing to do. I can honestly say it's very disheartening for me. I never thought there would become a day when I would look at my hourly wage when I raised my shop wage, where I'd already have to raise it again and continue thinking about raising it consistently until pushback, I should say. It is unfortunate. All those things said, I don't like it this way. I don't like it as much as you do, but I'm just being honest, and I see this happening across the industry nationwide. And I see a lot of good shops that were already low on their price, and they hated to raise it because of the squeeze, but at the end of the day, I don't blame them. If you have an abundance of work and you're not getting it done in an efficient time, where you have 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of backlog, you're only hurting yourself. At the end of the day, the name of the game is, it's great to have money in the bank, but at the end of the day, you also need to have a little bit of sanity. Maybe just buy an older car if you can't. Work on the newer stuff and drive it. Learn how to fix up the older stuff. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to end the video off right here. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.